In the previous videos, I showed you how to model this box from scratch. We first tried the solid loft feature and found that that only created 4 panels for us. And then we used a surfacing tool to create flat triangles that were faceted around this box. We used the shell and we trimmed it down. Then we used a few sheet metal tools to rip the sides apart and insert bends to actually bend it. Now this is where you stop, and I'll just show you what additional features we could use. So in this model, I had a larger gap, and this was the model that I used to show what the gap really would look like. But I wanted to show that even if we have a larger gap, there are some tools that we can use to close up those corners. And there's a sheet metal tool called corners. Under corners, we have closed corner. And closed corner will do just that. So it takes our gaps and it's going to close them up. Now it doesn't seal them up, it just brings those panels together. So if we look from the top, before the closed corner, we have the large gap, and the closed corner, you can see, brings both corners together. That's an additional sheet metal tool. Next, because we don't want any sharp corners, we can add a fillet to any sharp corners. So before the fillet, kind of a sharp corner. After, we just round that out. The edge flange is actually going to build a little tab for us. So your box will have a locking tab. And here you can see that I've added a little locking tab before the locking tab, after the locking tab. And you can see that this is actually cut into the material. So again, before the tab, after the tab. And this is the edge flange tool up in the sheet metal toolbar. We can circular pattern that to get 4 of them all the way around. And here's our additional locking tabs. Next, we have an unfold tool. And the unfold tool is very similar to the flatten tool that I showed you earlier, but it actually unfolds those and keeps them unfolded for us to do additional work. The next cut is simply a stitch line, and that's just where we're going to make a short little cut with the laser or plasma cutter, and that's going to allow us to hand bend these boxes. I don't need to create the whole string of these, I just create one, and then I'll use a linear pattern and I'll pattern that across a line. I can create an additional cut on an additional line and pattern that. And then, believe it or not, I did a circular pattern of patterns because there's no other way to get those in as easily. Next, I can cut any logo or text in there that I want. And this is a basic sketching tool that uses fonts. You can type anything you want and it'll cut that text. I can do a circular pattern on that. Next, I can create additional text or logos. Circular pattern on that. And the reason I'm doing independent circular patterns and not one massive circular pattern is I may want to change one of these things independently. And it's just easier to have a separate feature there so that each of these can be toggled on or toggled off without affecting the whole. I may decide that I need to put in additional stitch lines, and I'll pattern those. Next, we have a fold command, and the fold command is the opposite of the unfold command. These two commands are right up here at the top. So after we've done all of our flat work, we can fold that box back up. That's pretty much our completed box. These last few operations I just didn't need for the boxes that we have, and I've completed your box. So that concludes the extra features that you may choose to put into your box.